Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
One of the things to consider when we speak about going to space is what do we define the space as? And what do we see or what we consider as a space? We take a space in our physical body on this planet, and at the same time, within the structure of our physical body, there is another dimension of life which we call the soul of the man. And even though it lives within the space dimensions of the body of the man, has its own life and has its own line of communication. And what we define space, going to space, we already know the inner sanctum or the creator of our physicality travels the depth of the universe, has been the space travel all the time, has a line of communication with other parts of us, be it through dream we call it, or through subconscious, some people they call it, or we have the choice that physically move the physicality with its soul. In a way, we have a bird caged in the physicality of the body of man, and that bird is called the soul of the man. We can open that cage and let it loose at the point of death. When the operation of this cage rots away, and it cannot hold together, and this beautiful bird becomes free. Still, it takes life in the universal dimension because it has a life. It exists on its own. Or we can carry the cage in a box and take it anywhere. I can take a bird cage in the car, I can take a bird cage in my hand and walk around the park. It doesn't change the entity and existence of that bird. Still a bird, still sings, still communicates with other birds in the park. And this is how our soul is. So we give option. Those who understand the process of the creation can take that cage, that bird, out of the cage and free it, because we trusted it come back in. It's very much when you have a parrot at home, you open the door, you let him fly around the house, and he comes back again and he goes in the cage. Because you trust it. It knows that's where it belongs to. And this is the process that we have made an option to man. The soul of the man is that bird, but is encaged in physicality of body of man. And for the first time, man knows, man can see that it's him who hasn't trusted the bird to be freed. And it has come the time that he does not need to see the cage to break up, to rust, that the bird can fly out, or by accident open the cage's door is open and the bird flies out. That accident is when we die on the street. The bird cage opens up. That bird still gets freed. But now we are teaching how the man has control over this door of the cage. And he trusts that the soul will come back to the body. Or the bird will stay, that it can create that atmosphere of the home, the cage. This is the problem we have, and this is what we call it different ways of traveling. But to be able to free that bird without accident, or when the cage cracks, rust, and we call it death, we are teaching how to be able to control, to trust that that bird, when we release it, can come home, or can make a home that we can go to. When my children were young, 4 or 5 years old, they wanted a bird, a cockatoo. I bought them a cockatoo. And this bird in the cage was very young, a few weeks old when we got him. And we used to let it free in the house. He knew he goes back in and he sleeps there and he lays egg there. And it came to the point, because of the diseases carried, we had to, the doctors told us, this bird cannot stay in the house because it's causing problem in the house, health problems. So we decided that we loved the bird. We didn't want to let it go, it was part of us. So we decided, if we let it free, it will die, because he didn't know how to look after himself, because he was hand-fed. We decided we'd take him to a sanctuary, and we give it to a sanctuary to be kept. We carried the cage across a park, and as we were walking to go to the sanctuary in the park to be given to them, an old lady saw us. She says, "Oh, what a beautiful bird." We said, "We have a problem, we love him, but if you leave him here, we don't know if you see him." She says, "I'll look after it, give it to me. You can come and see it anytime you like." And it was just like a gift. So we got the old lady in the car, we went to her house, we put the cage there, we showed them how to look after the bird, and the bird was free again in the room. And every now and then, children said, "Papa, can we go and see him?" So we called the lady, we go and see him, and the bird is there. And it was a new home, it was our home. And this is how the soul of the man should be. Is trusting that where he goes, he can make a home for us. So in this process, we are teaching different ways of freeing the bird, or carrying the cage. The bird is still there. If you want to carry a cage and go somewhere, you get in the car, that's your spaceship. Still the cage is there and the bird inside. The cage is the body of the man and the bird is the soul of the man. Because we haven't trusted that we get the bird back. We carry the cage in the spaceship. Or there is another line of teaching, which is the understanding the structure of the cage, that you can make the cage not to rot, that then it frees the bird, but it can open up and you can carry the bird. The bird is free, you don't need to fuel it, you don't need to do anything. It travels the space of the room, the space of the garden, the space of the city, and it comes back home again. In a way, when we teach about the soul of the man, is in getting the man to trust himself. And to trust himself, he has to become detached. He has to come detached from physicality, detached from the wealth, detached from everything else. That the wealth is within me, not belonging to me. And this is where every man makes a mistake. In many of the teachings I have referred, if you understand that you can put the soul of the man to act with the soul of physicality of the man, you can make anything you like. The soul of the man is the sun, and the soul of physicality in the palm of the hand of the man is the earth. You move it in the direction, you create water, you create food, but you don't need to have it. It creates the energy that the physicality of the man can absorb. We give the earth in the hand, in the palm of the man. He creates what he needs, he takes what he needs from it. Then, if you understand this, you allow the soul of the man to carry the soul of the physicality of the man with it, and whenever it comes, it makes that hand, that palm, 1,000 meter, 1 meter, in a cage of physicality or in a cage of non-dimension. So, it's not methods of flight, it's the method of man understanding his own potential, his own grace. So, because we have so many people who are so physically attached, we teach about the spaceship for years. This is what it was. They still wanted to see they can get into something. But, as I said, I teach for the universe, not for the man. What we teach in the dimension of soul of the man, many travelers of the universe which hear the soul of me are educated, they understand what they missed. But, as this is the last time we bring a messenger on earth, we teach everything for mankind to carry. All the rules are in the book. There shall be no more messages. It's for man to translate knowledge. Scientifically, and then through the understanding of the soul of the man. What we call theology, ethics. Ethics of using the science in a way that does not harm no one, but it implies and applies the survival of the others. I was talking about this a few days ago, that there is a paper written by me, the station of the scientist as a prophet. The prophets we call Muhammad, Christ or anybody, are for the soul of the man, conduct of the behavior. Scientists like beautiful Tesla and others are to elevate the same, but the physicality of the man. This time we have put the two together in one go, then there is no difference. We teach the ethics, the soul conduct and physicality. It's for the man to understand where the two merge and when it's needed to be done. The totality which counts, not the individuality. What you can serve counts, not what serves you. So in this way, if you are physical, we have given you the spaceship, all these reactors. If you have moved in the dimension of understanding part of it, you have the dynamic system, you get some energies, you put a glass of water, you mix the energy and something else together, you're still the camel bird. You put the orange, take the energy, but you still want that the physicality that you're doing something with it, you drink the water. And for the soul of those who understand the totality, then they don't need the cage. They're the free bird. And this is the essence of all the teaching. It's not different ways of flight, is understanding the existence of the universe. Then if you travel with a spaceship, who do you see? The citizens of the universe in a physical dimension. If you travel with the soul that you can create the physicality, you take that out of the equation. You travel, but you know you have connection with everybody. It's very much, as I said once, it's like you get out of London and you go to New York. You're there on your own, but you still pick your phone and speak to the family in London. It's not finished. Now, the soul of the man, given the man the same opportunity. We teach for the time to come. And we teach from now till that time to come. And that time comes, is not anymore the end of the world, something will happen. It's the maturity of the one's understanding of his own creation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 630th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, February 19th, 2026. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute Education Department, and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond, and I'll be host once again in this weekly series of workshops. And once again, we have Mr. Keshe here as our main presenter and presenter of the knowledge of the universe, let's say. So let's begin, Mr. Keshe. Please take us wherever you wish to go.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you, as usual. Wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge from Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute. As usual, we welcome you back, and we are here to share the knowledge of creation. As we understood, due to our knowledge and understanding more of the structure of the creation, we realize that we are part of the soup, not part of single system. And in that process, we found out and we have seen that, as we said last time, as we have no intermediary, when we stand on a beach and absorb the rays of the sun shines on us, we feel the warmth. It touches our emotion, it touches our soul. So on the dimension of the soul of the man is the object or the entity which received the light from the creator, not the physicality of the man. And as we said, the soul of the man in interaction with the soul of physicality of the man in a condition of his environment gives manifestation to physicality of the man. So what we understand, if the soul of the creator shines or interacts with the soul of the man, so what environment is the soul of the man and the soul of creator, that this creates part of that entity in a way which so in the structure of the embodiment of the creator do we create with our soul. And if you think of it, we have a recycling system in our body. Our blood cells recycles every 28 days. Our skin does the same. Part of our bones changes every 9 years. So if we put the totality of the soul of the created on this planet, we are not any different. We just recycle every 88 years of the life of the man, and some of us are short-term use at the time of birth, few seconds or few days. We go through that process. We have short-term cells in the body of the man. We have the short-term, what we call confirmation of existence in the embodiment of the creator. There is no difference, unless incapacity to understand the process of creation brings you animosity and division and prejudices. If man stays open in the knowledge of the creation, man will find out that it's all the same. In a way, what does the light, the energy, the field, the ray of the creator interacting with the soul of the man create which cell in the embodiment of the creator? Are we a cell in the kidney? Are we a cell in the heart? Are we a cell in the bigger structure? And isn't the man habit of killing, is that cancer that once moves in the system will damage the rest, and it needs to be chemotherapy or laser beam or radiation therapy, that it does not carry that habit across? In a way, if we understand this, we come to understand a lot more. We have to open the dimension, because one of the biggest problems for man to understand is emotion, the emotion of the man, how the interaction of the soul of physicality and the soul of the man creates that emotion as energy, that when it gets in touch with the brain structure of the man, creates the physical reaction. You get the emotion of fear, transfers into your physicality. Because you're in a fire, you run. You get in another position, it's an emotion of joy, and you cuddle and hug. So if that emotion is out of the interaction of the soul of the man, the soul of physicality of the man, what emotion, how does the emotion between the creator and the soul of the man is observed, and how do we look at it? This is important, because what we need to understand, how does emotion work? What's the basis of emotion? And what gives us a reference point that it creates that condition? Reaction is different than emotion. Emotion is need to be created, that the physical reaction comes out of it, or a physical reaction is created that creates an emotion. But then this is the physical emotion. What happens between the creator and the soul of the man, that's the creation, what we call the essence of the emotion of the man. Have you ever thought, have you ever sat down and think, how do I know a sentence is structured? A condition is structured, and then my body just talks it and does it. Do you know what the next word is? Or is the scenario played between the soul of physicality and the soul of the man through the dimension of the emotion, and then the thoughts and the words are created out of that? You give what we call an information to someone. We have brought this to say, oh, it comes out from memory. We stored it. But what that memory in interaction with a condition creates the emotion that you alter it, change it to what you want to explain what you're trying to do, or what you're trying to explain as an emotion. We have to understand where our thoughts come from. Man has no dimension. Man has no point of reference. In a way, what we come to understand are thoughts. The information we gather is backed in our soul in its connection to the world of the creation of the creator, where we just, in a way, put it in a sequence of what we want. We think we want to say something, but we need the emotion of it to create a condition to go to a reference point in the soul of the man, to get a backup for it in the dimension of the soul of physicality, for us to utter that emotion as a touch, as a look, as a word, as a sound, as emotion of dimension of fields. Because there is something that most of us know we never considered. They tell us we have 5 senses. In fact, we have many more senses. We sense without anything the impression of a person. We sense our children thousands of miles away, their joys and their happiness and their pain. Where is the 6th sense? We deny it because that is in the dimension of soul. It's a dimension of the fields, interaction with the soul of, interaction in conjunction as the intermediary with the soul of the creator field allows us to feel it. We have denied a lot of things in our lives, but the most important thing for us to become the traveler of this universe, we have to understand how the emotion is created. First of all, emotion in dimension of physical body of the man, or a dimension between the soul of physicality and the soul of the man. And then emotion between the soul of the creator and the soul of the man. That in reference point, it allows us in interaction with other souls create the same. If we don't understand this, we will not be able to transmute. We have given you every dimension. Most of you have tried everything, but you don't understand part of the structure. And this is how we come to understand the rays of the Creator in interaction with the soul of the man fields, in corresponding with each other, in conjunction with the soul of the mother or the father, allows understanding the position that you as a child remember, oh, my father, what he told me is now I have to go in the memory of my physicality, create the emotion of it for it to be called back. This is how we call our memories, through emotion. Every memory we have, the key to it is an emotion: pain, happiness, joy, something we needed, we suffered for it, we gain it from a joy. So if we understand all this together, we will understand. We have to understand the magnetic field to feel the strength of the emotion, how it's created, and how that emotion creates reaction. Be it in the dimension of the soul of the man, be it in the dimension of the soul of physicality of the man, be it in the dimension of us being a cell in the body of the Creator, and us being in the cell condition of our own body. What this means, how we feel between the soul of physicality and the soul of the man in interaction with the soul of the cell in a given position of the structure of the brain of the man creates reaction on that cell in a bunch of structure of totality. You have a fear. That fear comes to you throwing your hand, trying to get rid of the bee. That's the fear, which is translated with the information of the side, the sound, what we had in the memory, what the bee can do, that we create that. So for us to transmute, which is the backbone of all the teaching, we have to understand how emotion is created. What is the field, the strength of the emotion? How emotion translates from one to another. Every emotion has gravitational and magnetic field pattern and structure and nothing else. Most of you today, and a couple of you who've been told in advance, are subject to this test today. The systems are on. We are testing you with a very high, powerful emotion in the dimension of the soul and not the dimension of the physicality. How do you feel? We perceive, we present, we structure emotion in the dimension of what we receive and what we give. And we have the capability to change the two very rapidly. We want to receive. We bring our level of the fields, magnetic fields, to lower level in a dimension of carbon-14, that we absorb the energy, the field contraction, interaction with the soul of the Creator in the dimension of the soul. And we immediately translate it in the soul of physicality, and we react. But what happened when we are not in charge of the physical body, and we call it, we are in the stream and we dream? How does that emotion creates the condition? Why do we see in the dream, we cuddle, we kiss, we fight and everything else, and we wake up and it's not there? It creates the emotion to us, and then we act on it. For knowledge seekers to become the traveler of the universe is not how you perceive emotion in the physical body. Man has to understand the process of creation of emotion in a dimension of the physicality of the man, or in the dimension of the soul of the man. And then the two, how they interact, what is the common denominator? The only common denominator in the emotion of the physicality of the man's soul and the soul of physicality of the man is the magnetic field of the Creator. You have the common line. It's what you add to it, of which strength, lower or higher, and whatever, that is in essence in the dimension of the soul of physicality, of the creation of the Creator, in dimension of the soul, or in the dimension of physicality. In the physical dimension of the magnetic field of this planet. We have 2 legs, 2 arms, and everything else. We need the lung, we need 2 eyes, we need ear, that we cover 5 of the senses. But we have a 6th sense, we call it. We always denied it. It's the dimension of the fields. It's like in the world of science, they do everything, but they deny the magnetic fields. The 6th sense is the factor that brings all your 4, 5, 6, 7 senses together. Is the creator of your emotion and is the connector of you to the soul of the creator. If man one day fully understand this, man can transmute anywhere in the universe because he creates that emotion. And go back to the teaching of the past. The emotion of the soul of physicality and the emotion of the soul of the man is where you interchange when you transfer your physicality into a dimension of energy and transfer and transport. And then when you bring the soul of physicality out to interact in the dimension of environment, then the environment decides how you look. In this environment, you want to manifest yourself in the ocean, you have to be a fish-like thing. But sorry, you are in the sea, but in another planet. There is no oxygen for you. In there is acidic. So you take the shape, construction, structure to survive, to understand the both emotions, entity, the way life is in that position. Many of you have done this, but you don't understand it because it was monkey see, monkey does. Look at the processes. Look at how you produce gases. We gave you different environment. See how how does a gas which you produce at 5%, 10%, 15%, 20% salt interacts. Then you understand, even you call it all gases of CO2, is not the same. I use 20%, which gives it a dimension of pressure for this condition. I do that for another condition. You look at the texture of the amino acid on the CO2 of 5%, 10%, 20%, 50%. That's all you do. You create different gravitational inertial condition in the water. If you understand this, and you understand the interaction of the soul of the creator with the soul of the man, gives the dimension of the universe to man to travel. Where the interaction of the soul of the man with the soul of physicality of the man gives the dimension of environment he's in. This is why we can't match the two. This is why man call it a dream, because in reality he cannot flip-flop anywhere and see what he likes. He needs a car, he needs a fuel, he needs everything else, he needs food to have the energy. Where through the dimension of the soul of what we call creator interaction with the soul of the man, you have access to knowledge of universe. In the body of the man, you go to school, you have to learn alphabet and different languages. In the dimension of interaction of the soul of the man with the soul of creator, you have access to all the knowledge of the creator. Now you understand. The only way you can access into that is the dimension of the two emotions. What is the frequency of the emotion of physicality? What is the information and dimension of the soul of the creator? And how the two emotion creates the same dimension in the body of the man as it does in the embodiment of the creator. Now you understand why the creator fell in love with Mitra, because for the first time he felt the dimension of the love, unconditional gift. This is where even the emotion of the soul of physicality of the Mitra touched the emotion of soul of the creator in interaction with it and matched and led to the creation of what we call the love of creator. We have to understand this if we want to become the passengers of the space in true way, Otherwise, you can do exactly what NASA did, send man to the moon 50 years ago and say we lost all the movies. We don't know how we did it. That's what NASA tells us today. There is no record. All the films about how man landed on the moon in 2000 was disappeared, and we don't know where we lost it. There is no such a thing in the memory, in the emotion of the creator with the soul of the man. Because, as you say, it's become the knowledge of the universe. We talk about the love of what we call in different languages, different lovers. And that in the universe is known as the love of the creator with the meter, where he felt the first time the love through the interaction of the emotion of the physicality and the emotion of the soul of the mitra with the creator. In a way, when the two match, the universe is your oyster. And it's the job of the man to find that dimension. And it's the job of the man to know how to transmute. And it comes only through detachment. I'm not attached to this planet. I'm not attached to this physical body. But I use it to give pleasure to the others. I use it to bring comfort to the others. I use it to give for the planet I live in to be a peaceful place. And in interaction with it, I find a matching peace with its creator. And that's when the two emotions of peace come together. Man gets access to the universal dimension. I made man in the image of myself because I gave the same emotion as me to my creator. But then the question comes, did we need prophets to create this emotion? Do we need messengers? Or the messengers is us, what message we send from our soul of physicality to our soul to match with the interaction with the soul of the creator? As knowledge seekers, it's your job to find the strength of the emotion of yourself and nobody else. And nobody to be criticized. You don't understand it. It's done this way. It's done in every dimension and strength as there are stars in the universe. There is no single path. There is no single way. It's for every man to understand how he creates the physical emotion, how he creates the interaction of the emotion of physicality that with interaction with the soul of the creator, with the soul, gives you the dimension, the access to the universe, the unicos, and the rest of it. Mankind needs to understand this process. And all comes without fail through the combination of the fields of the wave of the creator and the fields of the creator and the waves of the answer, the gravity of the feedback of the waves of the rays of collection of the interaction of the fields of the universe. In a way, we split to gain more, and in gaining more, we become gravitational towards the matter, where the dimension of the creator stays in the dimension of magnetic or weaker. It gives. It's there to give, to be attracted by. And in that process, has a strength in the gravitational field of the creator. I give enough to you that in receiving, you collect and give back to me that I can give more. For you knowledge seekers, it's important to understand this phenomenon. Understand it, not just talk about it. And once you understand it, you'll be enlightened to the process of the transmutation. It's not ticket to buy. It's not a condition you can put yourself, force yourself into. It's the enlightenment, understanding the true love of the Creator. Unconditional. There is a big difference, and this is what has come for those who deviated man, who pushed man to the boundary of abuse, when they say the strength of the love comes from suffering. Creator never suffered. It created the joy of living. Those who confirm and they say the more you suffer, the more you appreciate, are those who try to put man away further as possible from the Creator and understanding the emotion of the Creator with the emotion of the soul of the man and the dimension of the soul of physicality. There has never been no suffering. And those who created suffering for man have pushed man further from the truth. And if you understand this, as knowledge seekers, you come to understand one simple principle. How does your Creator love? And if you understand that love, how does the soul of the man creates? Then if you understand that, then you understand how even the speech, the reaction, the thought of the man are created. Stand still, as I said before, and think, how does this word comes from me? Where does the thought come to me that I speak it and it's there? The next sentence, I don't know what the end of the conversation is going to be. I don't know what the end of the joke, but I know I want to get there. And my emotion in interaction with my physicality make the sentences and it gets you to that point. It's the same with the Creator. The interaction, the language between the soul of the man and the soul of the Creator is no difference. It's not verbal. It's dimension, field, interaction, and strength, and the wave, emotion of the totality. Try to understand that your existence on this planet is according to the conformation of the light of the sun. What gives that you are made of. This is your dimension of physicality. It's the same what shines from the Creator on the soul of you that allows for you to be created, to be manifested in the dimension of the fields in the world of the creation. If you understand this process, then you understand the language. You can speak the word of the Creator because it's the emotion without the word, without the voice. When you hug your child, the emotion you give to it. When you hug your lover, when you give your emotion to it, there is no word. You squeeze, and that squeezes back, and the tear comes from both eyes. There is no word. It's the transformation of field, the waves of interaction, and what hits the dimension of physicality of the brain of the man manifests itself in the dimension of physicality of the tear, hug, kisses, and everything else. And this is how we hug and kiss our Creator. Once we understand what is given to us in the dimension of the access to the universe, and we have denied ourselves for the pure dimension of physicality. I made man in the image of myself, even at the level of emotion, and not just the physicality conformation of existence. Try to understand what creates in you emotion, and what emotion feel the strength is not that makes me tear. You're not an actor on the stage that they tell you now you have to cry and make something that the tear comes and it looks real. You cannot fool your Creator. And if you understand this, then you understand you cannot cry unless you embrace the beauty of the creation to the feels that you receive from His beauty. We are teachers. As I said to one of the religious leaders in a message very recently in the past few days, messengers, prophets, they were all illiterate, had no knowledge. And they made things and they tried to become a teacher when they had no knowledge of the creation. This time we have full knowledge of the creation. We are not messengers, but the teachers to teach you how to get to, like trying to solve a problem. We show you the way, the formula and the process. Is you who have to set the example for yourself and nobody else. This is the job of universal teachers. we are spiritual for ourselves. We are not prophets for the others. But we teach the essence of the knowledge of the creation. It's for you as the students to understand. Would like to translate in the dimension of physicality, or you want to translate it back in the dimension of the energy, soul of the creator, where you interact with a dimension, where in the dimension of physicality, your physicality is restricting you from doing. In a way, if you think of it, the dimension of the emotion of the creator always interacts with the dimension of the soul of physicality of the man, one way or another, because the reaction it creates, then it touches the soul of the creator. This is what was understood by the creator when he fell in love with Mitra. The process of the creation that I gave unconditionally, and for the first time I received back unconditionally, and what I received is more powerful in breaking down the love which I gave in every dimension. You are lucky when you come across the daughters of Mitra, because they carry much more power than Mitra. Their love will cover the whole of created, where the love of Mitra was just for the creator. The time for you to understand is the essence of the emotion, feel the strength of the emotion, and then understand feel the strength composition, which is a common denominator between the soul of the man, the soul of the creator, and the soul of physicality of the man. And then the emotion becomes one, and man can transmute. We can create the dimension of the field of the universe, that even the soul of physicality becomes the strength of the soul of the man. Then you can imagine what shall be. Mankind has become a slave to its limitation of physicality and joy and suffering. And if mankind can move on and just take the joy, as there is no suffering in the life of the creation, then man will understand when is the time for it to move on to become another part in the process of creation. Man makes his own cancer, and man can remedy his own cancer through emotion if he understands the cause of the emotion to create the condition of the attraction and interaction and creation of the point, place, time, and strength. Understand the teaching of today. I opened a very fundamental teaching for you to understand, and we'll teach it over the next few weeks and months. You learn about the soul deep enough. Now you have to understand how the emotion of the soul works, that you understand how the emotion of the man is created, that in bringing the two, you become what we call the traveler of the universe, as you have a common denominator, and the knowledge of the universe is open to you. The way every cell of you has the knowledge of what you gain in physicality. Don't touch the fire, it burns. The foot doesn't go in the fire, the finger doesn't go in the fire, the body goes, because every part knows that burns. And then another dimension of emotion, it says, you see your lover, throw yourself at it, because it gives you so much back that you be immersed in the love of the creation. And the knowledge is in. The same is with the knowledge of the creator and the soul of the man. One day, gradually as we teach you, you find out during the process of teaching, you're transmuting without knowing. Some of the knowledge seekers have reached this point, but they have the fear of confirming to themselves. Transmutation is not packing and going and coming somewhere else. It's understanding, seeing the beauty of the creator to feel the strength of his creation. I made man in the image of myself, in every dimension, even emotion and manifestation. We go for a break and we come back. Try to answer some of your questions if you understood the teaching of today. You have access through the dimension of the soul to the library of the Unicos, and you have chosen to lock yourself in the electric land library of the man. We take us for a break and we come back.
All right, very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe. Okay, another teaching from the 630th Knowledge Seekers Workshop this time. And we'll have a short break with a message from a previous workshop about the products, the Cosmic Spring products. And when we're back, we'll have an opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Keshe, and I'll remind our attendees here in the Zoom, you can put up your virtual hand, and then we can acknowledge you and open your microphone. And you can also put questions in the Q&A is best, or also in the chat in Zoom, and also in the chat in YouTube. All right, back shortly. You'll see that now. And let me get
Yes, these are cosmic ray, what we call materials, which we have launched as packages before in different what we call occasions, and now we are releasing these on a what we call continuous basis. These are all what we call resin product for different occasions, which is coming up. They'll be priced in the next day or so, hopefully, and then you should be able to purchase it directly. We do not do the what we call the packages as we used to do, like a Christmas and a New Year packages. These are individual pieces, and if you go through all of them, and then you can see what it is. And it's per occasion. You can what you call order per piece, then as we did it in 500 and 250 and 1,000 packages. This way, every individual person can choose. They are made of different mixture of what we call cosmic ray and gases, and it's a new what we call a structure which goes with this one. I'm sure in next day or so, very soon, you will see a launch of a new pen, what we call the paint pen, on the same structure. It's not plastic anymore. You actually hold the whole direct contact with the material. The new what we call cosmic ray paint pens are a solid state. What it means in the present paint pens, you have a plastic container which still filters energy between the body and what is to be taken out. Now you actually hold directly the two energies. You create a closed circle, and these are the new extensions of the energy systems which we have put out, and you will see it has been sent to you but has not been what we call put out or priced out, but is part of the new product range which the Keshe Foundation lives there. You don't need necessarily to buy it for Easter because it's a rabbit. These you can buy it as a decoration and put it in the house for transfer of energies. And they all have confirmation, because we had a lot of problem with people transferring like cosmic, what we call ray materials. But now as a resin is inside, is within. For example, in the past we had a problem with paint pens in some countries because of the liquid inside it or whatever, could not be done. Now is a resin. Anybody around the world can buy the paint pens, and this is part of the structure of bringing in peace, bringing in what we call happiness into the house, change of the energies. You just put it as per item, and this allows us to be able to transfer a lot of it. You have a child which is sick, we are developing technologies to be able as a toy to bring that change. Children don't like to take medicine. We'll be coming the same way. In the coming months, as part of the Keshe Foundation reorganization, we will receive documentation and materials worldwide licensed for the first time for the viruses, which means we'll handle through a structure how to overcome the viruses in a way it does not exist in the world of medicine. And this will become part of our structure of the work. And you will see massive amount of pictures and items which will be continuously be added to, and we try to keep it in a way workable for all of us in so many ways of understanding how things work. You can use it for Valentine, and you can make it for Easter, but at the end, at this final point, is how we enjoy connection and the understanding of the use of the energy field. In the next couple of days, we already made this offer to some of the retailers. If those are in the retail side of the Keshe Foundation, have access to charities or whatever, that they can give the resins freely in the hand of the what we call people who need it. The Keshe Foundation has set up a structure to support that. And all the what we call our gel packs, as of this week you will see, will be reduced to 10 and 20 euro per pack, depending on the size. And we have a large number of the pillows which we went through to restructuring of the Keshe Foundation, changing the pillows to $29.99 for some, for the small ones, and to $40, $49 for the larger one, that we can move a lot of things out of the way, that we can accommodate the new changes and the new product range which is coming into the structure of the Keshe Foundation. So in the next few days, look for what we call the Keshe Foundation pages and see what you want from it and what suits you. And everything will be priced down to come in through. There's a lot of other more products which is already being produced and will be added to this range. And it's mainly to change, because we understood a lot of people have problems even in partnerships, that they want to change the environment of the house, but the partner is allergic to this and that. These are decorative items, they will do the same. You have a child which is disturbed, this does the same. Put it around the bedroom. We've done this in different ways, in different trials, where we just leave the bottle of gases and people don't like to see this. This is a decorative, but does the same thing. The size, the shapes brings the dimension of the change, and then it's for you to see how things done. In a, what we call a structured way, we introduce new materials, and as I said, we are looking for what we call resellers of the products of Keshe Foundation worldwide. It has to be a continuous, not just buying order for me to buy and just for what I want. This is a new product range, our manufacturing site for distributing, and new product range will come, which part of it will be high advanced technologies.
All right, well, that's our excerpt regarding products. And get back to
I think you received some things on your other link, link to new products.
Yes, I've got.
So that we can put those up. These are what was old and new, and is partially is available to reseller section. And if the knowledge seekers would like to access to it, will be put on later on for the knowledge seekers.
Let me get those open.
Until you find them. We are still looking for scientists who can join Keshe Foundation for different aspects of the space technology, agriculture, medicine, environment, materials. We putting our, what we call our request out to international companies to join us in this endeavor. If you are qualified in any shape, or you sent us a request a couple of years ago or a few months ago, whatever, we posted back to info@keshe.foundation. We don't want knowledge seekers who just do something for a hobby or whatever. We want scientific data. If you have something, you develop something, has to be scientific and has to be, for us, something which adds to our work in the space technology. We are looking for doctors, medical doctors, specialized in certain categories. If you are alternative doctor, especially in what we call herbal medicines, we are looking for that kind of doctors. If you are from China, so it's better for us. If you're a herbal medicine from India or Central Asia, we still would like to look into it. We're looking for people who have a space background, military defense space background, who know about the flights and the rest. We'd like to bring you into research and development of the Keshe Foundation. We're not talking about interaction or start of the work in months. It's immediate. If we see you fit into our program, we call you in, we make you an offer, and it's for you to join the system. If you're in communication satellite system, we are looking for. If you are specialized in AI and computer programming, especially if you're from Iran, we are looking for that kind of expertise. We're looking for people who can plan and are in marketing, international marketing of products. We would like to hear from you and see how we can collaborate with the foundation. If you're running companies in countries with multi-outlets and you have a good base on the internet, we would like to speak to you for the process of the products which are coming in. The Keshe Foundation website, as you see today, will be wiped out very soon. That's why we put the products to be cleared out. A newer structure, international structure, will come into operation, which will be delivered in the whole process. We are ready to move if we see the right appropriate people. You'll be engaged in the laboratories directly within a few days. If you can move that rapid, we are prepared to accept you. You can go to our human resources side. We go through everything. Just because you're a knowledge seeker does not give you any priority. And as we know, a lot of you, if you have a structure in the background, we are prepared to look into it and call and bring you on the full-time employment on the contracts of 12 months to 36 months renewable immediately. I see you're putting a lot of pictures in the background. These are all the, what we call the plushes. That a new bunch which has been brought out by the, what we call product production. Good.
So I've put the links into the chat here, chats, for the Cosmic Spring 2026 links, and these are some of the new products. Yes. So how are the how is the GANs incorporated into these products, Mr. Keshe, or is
it's inside? It's embedded inside them. These are something we've done for 2 or 3 years now plus. You had the stars and you had the sun and whatever. It's the same process. Now it's additional. It's done by a lady for us for past years, and this is what she's put out for us to do. As you know, these are very limited numbers, these brushes. And the same is with the gases. Now we have put the special gas packages because a lot of people wanted the package. They don't know what to choose from in the what we call the resin products. So that package has been put back on. You can choose a spring pack or whatever they put on. Make it much easier for people who buy the packages.
We had a question, a couple of questions about products from George. Has a question about the Spring Keshe GANS handmade resin coasters, which we see here.
Yeah.
And he says it's said to be used in pairs. Does the price, is that for one item only or for the two-piece set?
I think it's a piece per piece.
It does mention here, you can ask in the comments section of the product for customization regarding colors for all options or colors and mixing shapes for the two-piece sets. So it seems to indicate that they're two-piece sets.
Yeah, because it's as one piece. Because, for example, you put one on the table, you put the cup, and you put the other one on top of the cup. So
right.
It's the way you set up these coasters, or you put two cups on it. But primarily, if you remember, we do these water jugs with gas material in, is replacing that because each cup each plate is slightly different, so it charges up very much the same. In a very near future, in a limited number of countries, we will introduce certain products which cannot be supplied to other countries due to taxation and legal terms, where the products will be on a nationwide availability, not only in the Keshe Foundation store, but in retailers, the way we do now in Europe with the pharmacies, the Keshe products. This is a larger scale operation. We'll explain to you, it could be from food to water to other factors. So you can actually buy a Keshe Foundation product as a plasma product very soon in supermarkets as a product for a specific capacity. Also to be done, and then we inform you, we're just about we are in the first stages of production. When the first products are ready to be marketed, we announce in given countries where you actually can purchase these products. Is nation by nation, and then it'll come to the process of how you get access in different nations to the same, or we set up structures in those countries. If you remember, we started this process in a very different way some years ago in a couple of countries, but now Keshe Foundation has concentrated all its efforts in one nation, one country, and all the research and development is pouring into it. And this will be one of them. You can buy literally from plant pots to fish to what they call grocery, developed, marketed on the mass market under the banner Keshe Foundation Plasma Technology. And it'll be the same for the introduction of new, what we call application in the health, that will be coming out. And we're talking in a different scale as part of the process. But it's just wait for about maybe a couple of months, and as the process is completing, we'll bring you into it. And it'll be only for that nation or certain nations which can be what we call shipment. Any other question?
Yeah, we have a couple of more questions from George. In this case, I have the picture up. Does the Spring Keshe GANS handmade resin ornaments, specifically the flat egg with motifs set of 3, could be worn as a gem on a gold, silver, or cotton chain around your neck? Thank you.
We advise you strongly not to put anything like this on your skin. These are ornament for environment. We advise you strongly to not use them for holding on your body or whatever, or as a necklace. When it comes, we can't produce really such a thing with them.
And to be clear, it mentions the resin used for the figurines is non-toxic and food safe and odorless, but you're talking about the field effects of the ganses and so on the skin.
Yes. It's taken a lot of research to find this material. As far as we know, only one company in the world produces these kind of resins. And so we pay more for it, and just to be safe. And it can be used as a food product in a way we can use it later on in cups and all sorts of materials.
Okay, well, do these ornaments have to be used in pairs, or do they have the same effect as the resin coasters?
Yes, in a way, yes. You can hang them in a drink. You can hang them in a liquid that it is in the house. It can be done, but you have to make sure they stay safe. They deliberately brought this out that is food safe, is certified as a food safe product.
Okay, so they wouldn't have to be used in pairs, I suppose, but maybe it's better that way.
Yep. It was originally done for Christmas trees, but interested in different ways, and that's why it's been expanded this way for the rabbits or whatever for the Easter.
Okay. Next question.
It's very nice, you know, the tradition. I don't know if you have it in the US. I think you have the same, but in Europe, families hide eggs around the garden and whatever, and children go and find it. This is that kind of structure. Or the eggs we put out was for that kind of thing. Because children find it, they keep it, and then it becomes part of ornament, and it affects the environment of the house, the environment of the bedroom they live in.
Would it be okay to keep in a pocket, for example?
Yeah, no problem with it. It's just that don't put it there. Don't put anything with the gases. Long-term touch with the skin.
Right. Okay. Next question from George is, does the One Nation Network unit, could it be plugged into the same outlet next to a Keshe Foundation Maggrav Power Universal System or a Maggrav Power Plasma Generator for better and faster results?
It's all the same. There are different capability and they do different things. They don't interfere with each other as such. They connect with each other, but they don't interfere because they're set in a totally different way. It's like a different frequency band, different structure.
Does the concept of better and faster results, is that part of that configuration somehow, or
in the
how do we approach that?
In the future, the plan is that all the systems lock to each other. There is a way to do it. And the present systems are not set up that way with it. There is a method which needs to follow all the systems. All our systems coming up, all the 10,000 ONNs going out are connected to each other irrespective of the internet. They'll be connected there because the design of the plasma antenna is that way. You can't get somebody else coming and connecting into it. It's impossibilities. The 10,000 units only connect to each other. You cannot bring another. If we set up, let's say, another 10,000, we have to find a tool to work with each other because that 10,000 will be set up in another dimension, another structure.
Okay, another
By the
question.
way, speaking about ONOs, hopefully the first ONOs should go out if we get it all done before end of the month. And then once, as I said, the first 25, I think they've sorted some of the teething problem. Then the first 25 goes out. We give it a month till what we call hopefully the 21st of March to see any teething problems. And then this first cycle of hundreds will start going every 100 at a time. Yeah.
Okay, George has another follow-up question on, can the Keshe plasma fields absorption butterfly be used on the One Nation network unit, stick on its side panel or hang on
No,
the
do
walls?
not do it, no.
Can we put the butterfly on the walls in the room where the unit is
But
placed?
do not connect it to the One Nation systems. One Nation systems have a special way they're developing the antenna.
So it's okay if it's on the walls in the room, but not on the unit? Is that the idea?
Yes, don't put it on it directly intentionally. Let me explain to you something, bring it to one and all. As I said, we are looking for scientists and the people who are in different fields. We try to set up an environment that all the knowledge seekers live with their families in one campus. We are building a structure that knowledge seekers can transfer knowledge from agriculture into medicine, into space and everything else. In next few months, those of you who join us or people who come from outside, because now we start taking scientists or people from outside the Keshe Foundation, we're training them, we teach them with the experiment or exercise or whatever, the knowledge of the foundation. You'll be living, or majority of you, in one campus, in one structure. And when we employ anyone, we take the whole family. It's not that I'm going to this place on my own. We are responsible for your children, your family, accommodation, and making sure you work with a peace of mind. To my belief, it's no use bringing pain to people just because others going to have a good time when you're trying to keep the family. So if you try to understand, the process is a new space center structure is getting set up, that you all the people who work in this technology literally work in one environment, live, and in a way, we try to make it a bigger family. If you're from different nationality, we even trying to get your favorite food, a supermarket which matches your culture, that everything is our response. Your job is to create systems which creates peace for humanity. This structure is not something we dream to do, it's already structured. Number of knowledge seekers who've been around knowledge seekers structure already are working within this structure. It's not the future, it's the present. We do not disclose where the system is taking place. We're working with governments and knowledge of the what we call governments, what we are doing. So when you'll hear more and more about this, is that it's not something that's going to happen in the future. This space center, this structure of bringing all the technologies is already structured. There are scientists who are working in this. Experiments, development, commercialization is already in progress. It's not something we are going to do in the future. So if you have any expertise, if you know anybody in the fields we are looking for, let us know. And then our team will get in touch. And through non-disclosures, you'll never know they join us. They never know the research development. But the Future Space Technology Center has already been set up. Small factories, large scale development trials is already on the way. It's not something we are going, but to our structure, We keep everything very secret, very controlled, that we don't hit what we had in the past. It's not in any country you think it could be. We have well protected our structure, and we are looking for specialists who can literally walk off the street into the lab and work with other scientists for space development, defense technology, space research, in all aspects of the Keshe Foundation. Material, you're expert in it, we want to talk with you. You're a doctor specialized in certain medicine, you're an agriculturist, we are a specialist in desert, in fishery. You can join us as a full-time staff of the Keshe Foundation, international organization. Any other news? Any other question?
Okay. Done with the George questions, and we have Exoe in the Q&A who, I see we have a hand up here with Micah, who's the next question, but first we'll address this. If you wish, Mr. Keshe, it's somewhat medical, but I think we can talk about it. Zoe says, in the case of a newborn, where despite all applied methods, there is no breast milk available for 2 or 3 days, is there a plasma-based solution that can compensate for the lack of colostrum intake from the mother?
I don't understand.
Well, the mother has no breast milk available for the newborn, so is there a plasma-based solution that can compensate for that?
I think you have to understand the reason. It's not just it's psychological. Is it physical? This is a very common thing for the first days, weeks. Mothers don't produce milk, and then suddenly there's a flood of it. Or the brain has a trigger mechanism that has to be done by the doctors. You cannot just jump in and say yes.
So there would be no specific combination of amino acids and so on that can be used?
No.
No.
In a coming time, could be a possibility of a solution where you can put a child in the solution that he absorbs all the energy. Like, we're testing this in a very special way. And in the future, it will be available, maybe in 6 months, 12 months' time. Because this needs a special development, and is that you can absorb energy, what you need from the environment. But you have to organize it. At the moment, we are testing some newer structures with this, but you should be able to transfer into the mothers in the space don't have a breast in a way to feed because there is no food, they get that way. So we're creating environment. We're bringing some of the top specialists for this job. We have a gentleman from Pakistan who's specialized in what we call fetus development. He is a reputable specialist in this. He's joining us in the research center. And one of his jobs is that if we can carry the fetus without the womb to survive within the structure of the plasma. He's doing some research at the moment. His final years of his PhD, final weeks of his PhD, and he transfers back to Keshe Foundation for this research. And as I asked him to look at that, we can create a womb of the mother in a space lab. We put the children in an incubator when we look after them from 28 weeks, 22 weeks nowadays, and they survive. What about if we create an environment after it? And he understands. And if you come to a research center, you most probably see. And he will join us in the completion of the cycle. Yes, it is possible. You don't have to worry if the mother has the right milk. Child receives the right nourishment. This process is not just the feeding, it's supporting the soul and the energy of the emotion. because we don't look at it, just feeding the children. You look at the European American children, or most of the children in China, whatever, which are bottle fed because mother goes to work, grandma is there, and the bottle. You see, the structure is not normal. And when you see the children who are breastfed and brought up in breast milk or normal environment are totally different. And is it because of the not love of the mother, children become so pumped up, as we call it, or it's the lack of emotion, the touch, the love? Can we carry the emotion? This is part of what we taught today. Can we carry the emotion of the mother within the structure that a child receives the love and the care? Can we create the emotion of love in that incubator? We are not growing calf and cows and sheep in the chickens in the laboratories. It's a human. This emotion will come later on. And these are the things I've spoken in depth with the scientists, and what we will do. We create emotion feeding. But at the moment, no. Maybe in the next 12 months, 2 years, we'll introduce these kind of incubators for test. If the child doesn't feel hungry and it's in the environment which has nothing attached to it, but it's available for it to take, and it creates a healthy child. Doesn't matter if the child is 24 months old, 2 weeks old, or 2 years old. It's the way we will feed the future, but we start with actually the first trials we start with the animals.
What about the idea of creating blood with sort of artificial blood with the GANS products or some other plasmatic?
This is already in line for production, but in a specific way.
Could it be the way that creates a man that has no aggression? In other words, peaceful blood, and maybe we could have transfusions for those that need that peacefulness?
The blood we produced was tested by FDA. It's not something random. Was tested by FDA officers. And the way we produce it, that people always show that they think they can do it. But the way we produce it has been tested by FDA, and they tell us the way we produce the blood matches to every blood and can help a lot of conditions, including the emotion and energy. This test was stopped for other reasons, nothing to do with our test, other aspects of the interaction. But we know, and actually this was on the table with our team past couple of days, and that part of our production in the factory is production of what we call universal blood. But do we need to give the blood, or can we transfer the energy of the blood across? And we have some tests which are getting done now, hundreds of liters of it, for some experiments.
Okay, well, we have a hand up with, I think it's Mika, or it could be Micah, if I can't quite remember, who had the question last week about the Hawkins scale of consciousness. And I'll allow them to talk because I think it might connect with this. He did put a question in the Q&A here. It's about understanding how love is wired within the blood of the man. If that is indeed your question, go ahead. Is it Mika or Micah?
It's Micah. Thanks, Rick.
Micah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly. Go ahead.
Very good, thank you. And greetings to Mr. Keshe, Rick, Universal Council, and knowledge seekers worldwide and throughout the Unicos. Mr. Keshe, my question for this workshop is related to my question from last week on the Hawkins scale of consciousness potentially being a pathway to enlightenment. In your profoundly deep answer to my question, you talked about love sitting very further apart in regards to, for example, the blood of the Americans and their love to kill, and the blood of the romantic Italian life. And you made the example of the difference being 527 hertz for the Italian and 530 hertz for the American. I'm trying to understand how love is wired within the blood of the man and the deeper meaning behind this, if you could elaborate more on that.
The creation on this planet has two dimensions, the blood and neural system. And the structure is, one is static and one is dynamic. It's like generators. You have a rotator and you have coils around it. Blood is the dynamic. Neural system is the static. The blood, the iron in the blood, in interaction with the zinc in the body, creates this condition of what we call love. It's very, very clear. It's because it connects with, this is why we get excited and the heartbeat and the blood flow goes up when we see somebody we love. And we react to it that way. So we have to look at cycle of the creation on this planet has such a characteristics. We cannot deny it. And then it comes how these two interact according to the combination of the fields they produce and the field they receive as a wave. As I said many times, you walk down you go into a football match, 100,000 people, you don't feel anything. You walk outside the stadium, one person walking across the road takes your heart and you're gone. You dream, you do everything to get to it. Because the combination of the field strength within the structure of the blood, which is dynamic, with the zinc combination of the neural system, which is static, has certain frequency. And this is how we fall in love. And then this is how we create a field which looks so matching. We live whole life to fall in love, and suddenly out of nowhere it kicks is there. How many of you looked for love all your life and then touches? Takes your breath. You don't know what you want to do because now, is it you or matches the other side? And again, as I said many times, our neural system is constant, is same mixture. Our blood, which is iron content, is slave to the food we eat, so the combination changes continuously. And then this is why you need to renew, to put the emotion in the condition of the love with confirmation of love. And we look for it. And some people make a huge mistake between the physical love and the emotional love. They go for, we've seen, you're married with 2 children, women still look outside for somebody to love them, even everything is in the house. The same with a man. Because the composition in the body changes and it needs confirmation. This is the biggest mistake we make in our living lives. We don't confirm to our partner, I love you, because that word, if it's sincere, it's a synchronizer between the blood and the neural system. That's how simple it is. It's the emotion which connects the two together. And this is what we don't do. How many of you have walked every morning, every day to tell to your partner, I love you? I do, with a sincerity, because I know it's a key. It's the combination of, it's just when you sit with someone says, I don't know what love is. It's yours, not mine. Then you understand. You are in love, not me. But if you fell in love with a dog, with a person, and by touch, by word, you confirm your love, you bring that tune to the circulation of the blood within the neural system. You renew it. Because maximum 3 years, the balance in the blood, because of the food we eat, the behavior we create changes that. The coil is constant. The dynamic part is the problem. It's like, when you run a motor, you have a dynamic magnet in the middle rotating. It's the bearing of that which breaks, is the, what do you call it, the shaft which breaks down, or the magnet gets loose. It's that way exactly with the body of the man. We take energy from food. That energy affects our blood, and that blood affects, in interaction with our solid state of our neurosystem, affects our emotion and affects what we create love with. You take the neurosystem out of man, there is no love. You take the blood out, there is no love. Change the composition is diff. That's why the Creator fell in love, because of Mitra, in understanding that. You look at your neurosystem and you look at your blood system. If you look, most of the time, majority of the time, in the structure of the two, your blood coming in, going through the system, blood going back, has got the neural system in the middle. Neural system has no return because it's solid. Blood has, and it goes through the system. And combination of the iron and the zinc in a specific combination creates that, and then you have the copper, which brings the muscle reaction, how we react physically. Then you understand how, when you talk about love, creation of love, how we fall in love. We are with somebody for decades. Is obligation is there, and then we meet something somewhere, a dog, a cat, another person, and we feel we fall in love with. We give everything in life for. That's the true love. And how we value it, how we connect it. When you're young, you fall in love, as we say in English, as much as you change your trousers. That's a very English say. They say the guy falls in love as much as he changes. Why? Because we are young, we try different food, we try different energy, we come different community. Our blood creates a different dynamic, and that dynamic, in conjunction with our neurosystem, creates new emotional love. When we become older, we settle down, that circulation, and then you live with someone. The food is the same. It becomes a grinding, rotating, the same thing. The only thing is left to bring it, not a spice, but in a way tuning the emotion between the love, which is the blood circulation, and the neurosystem is the emotion. How many of you get up, wake up, middle of the night you wake up, and you kiss your partner and say, I love you? When is the last time you've done that? And then you see that even they're asleep, they look at the reaction the next day. The next confirmation of love, if it's not done truly every day, scientific, every 3 years, they say, you'll find out partners will. They stay together because of the children. They stay together because of convenience. But inside, the heart is somebody else's. They yearn to be loved. Somebody to tell you, I love you. You're in a partnership. You live with a woman or a man or a dog or even a plant. Tell them you love them once a day, at least a few times a week. If it's not misguided, it brings a beautiful time. And some people abuse it because it's his who is in love, not me. How many times a woman or a man told you, I don't know what love is. It's you who feels it. And you feel abandoned, and you walk away, look for another dimension, somebody who will truly love you. And then you find, and then you lose it because you forget there's a rule, the emotion has to be renewed. How many of you wake up at night, going to, you cannot go to sleep, you go back to bed, you just slip in. What about just cuddling your partner saying, I love you? That brings that motor blood with the static energy of physical touch. And then you understand emotion. What's the frequency of it? It changes everyone. And, Any other question?
Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's see. We have some other questions here. I was wondering, Mr. Keshe, if you had any results from the Valentine's Day transmission session.
In Valentine's session, we had an amazing thing, which is good for you to see. And we see it because we did it last Thursday without you not knowing, but I have to go in a special form because I specially kept it. I can explain it here. If you remember, in the let me see, I have to find the picture I took especially for this. Yeah. I leave it that you can see it. It's from Saturday. What I'm gonna do, okay, save it to photo. I have to disconnect online because of the new setup of the Zoom and come up with another one. Just give me time.
Okay, while you're doing that, maybe I can just mention a little bit about my experience, which was, it was difficult. I had a hard time with of all the transmutation and transmission sessions. This one was the most difficult by far, and because I couldn't find the grounding of that love in my life, and I found that I started to focus on the absence of love rather than love, and that became a problem. And I'm not sure if others had that kind of experience or not, or if they all had bliss and love and peace in their experience. So for me, I was it was disturbing in many ways. I'm still dealing with it. I mean, it's all okay, but it was an experience. And my experience may be the opposite of what most people had. I have no idea. So we don't hear you yet, Mr. Keshe.
Yes,
oh, there we are. Yes.
Yeah, we experience. We had different people with different experiences in this session, in the last session, and amazing enough, the people we saw, what you're explaining is very clear in the image I put. We see clear line. If you remember, I told you there is a point in the brain of the man which gives us indication the break between the physical love and the soul love coming from the soul, and we see the separation. There is a gap where it reflects how we do outside. If you go to teaching last week, we see this in the graph. I'm trying to put the graph up, but somehow I can't because you're still in it and I cannot take over. I'm trying to share this. Do you see it? I mean, I see your love, but I see my pictures, which is very unusual. Never had this. There are two pictures and two Zooms, both were in the same Zoom.
Let me just try sharing differently. Maybe sharing my desktop was confusing something.
Okay. Because we see the line, the separation between exactly two parts, and it sits on the line of the soul and physicality. We never had this. And it comes up in every session since we tested this new combination. And you see it that it's a short intervals, but it repeats this. Even today's graph, because we are monitoring in the background, we see this process. We are trying to separate where the soul sits and the other one comes up.
Great to see that if we can somehow.
It's here. I see it on my Zoom, but I don't see it on share Zoom, but it's shared on my Zoom. I'm on the same page as you are.
Let me stop the sharing and see if that helps. So go try sharing again.
I stop sharing. I start a new sharing and see if I can pull this up. I can see it on my page, but I cannot see it on your page, on the share comment. Very, very strange. We never had this new Zoom business has created this. Okay, what I'm going to do, Rick, I'm going to come out of this one. I'll send you the picture for you to put up, okay? I think that'll be the best way to do it. You see where I draw the line and go there, Rick. There you are. Okay, I'm sending you the image. It should be with you now.
Okay, just let me download it. No, get it up here. Over and finally share. Okay, I should be able to see that, I believe.
Okay, now if you open it up, you see where the line is? Red line in the circle. You see the love of the soul and the soul of the physicality very clearly, exactly what we thought will separate. The line here, if you look, the horizontal line is the central line. So it is amazing, and this is repeating itself in different ways in all the tests we've been doing in the background. Last week, the week before, because we run these tests, it confirms how comes a point where the right side is the physical side, the left side is the soul side. And you see even the shape of, if I can expand, I don't know, I can expand it, mine, I cannot expand yours. Let me see if I can do this.
How about that?
Yes, if you see this disturbance here and the shape of it, this is what I want you to look at. You see, this has a step in, which means comes from a higher order from the soul, steps in, and then it becomes, but you see a clear physical separation here, this point, which confirms what we said. The soul of the physicality, the love from the physical condition, from love from the soulmate, comes and separates somewhere in the brain. This is physically exactly what we taught, and we received confirmation of it in these tests. And you see very clearly these are odd pictures from the recording of sometimes 2 or 3 hours. We see this pattern appears, disappears, and this is why people feel the love on the physical side, but they don't feel the love in the emotional side. When the two match is when the fire starts. When the two emotions receive. Because on the left side, which is a physical side, you receive the same fields from the partner, from the one you love, where the right side comes from the emotion of the soul of the same. It'll be very hard, as I said in teachings before. You tell somebody I love you, and we put the system and says, oh, it's a liar. And then we can see it. It's there. It's not there. It's the same. This is not technology which we have advanced it more. If you remember, a version of this in 2013, 14 was done with a guy who came to kill me. I sat him in the machine and I said, he's there to kill me. Because the same way we can see the pattern of the emotion you cannot touch, you cannot lie with emotions. It's just a different presentation in a more solid way than the others. The other moment you go to, they say if you match blood that you can get married, you have to have a blood certificate in some of the countries that you match. Very soon it'll be emotional comparison, yes, but how long would it be there, because the blood is involved in it, and would the blood change? And does the emotion satisfy part of me which the other side doesn't do? It's very, if you look at the bigger picture, the picture you're sharing, if you look at the bigger picture, you don't see anything on the top as you usually see in this area or anywhere else. Is directed, the setup was set directly for the emotion of love, and it's in front of you. And that's why, as you said, there were some problems, because your life is committed to one person, and that is not there. That's why you have difficulty with it. This is one of the problems of the social operation in the new world of the internet and of freedom in the West. You live with someone, but you don't know if they actually love you, or your love for them is the same as what you expect it to be. Nowadays, with more, I was watching, as you know, the Chinese in past few days have put the new robots, which breaks all the barrier, all the things we had about the robots. They actually live, walk, jump, dance exactly like men do, humans do. The only thing they're missing is a true emotion. And part of our new research center will concentrate on giving these robots emotion. How? What happens if we keep? Because I know how to do it. There's a structure. We can give these into an AI system emotion. It's complicated, but it's knowledge we have. So what happens if we give the emotion to these robots? And as many of you know, this robot situation, industrial robots now in China is the only country we have dark factories. There are factories producing cars that there is no light at all, because all robots, they don't need light. And in China, known as the dark factories. There's hundreds of them now. They produce cars without a single person on the floor, only the mechanics if they fail, and there's no emotion to it. But now we see on the other side of industry, they are creating men, women who become partners, but no emotion, just verbal. You can add a lot of emotion to it. And somebody, as I said, I don't know, in the past, somebody asked AI, when would it be that the robots will take over the man and the man becomes a slave to it? And they think by somewhere up 245, I mean, what does come out, maybe somewhere up 230, 35, will have robots see us as useless things to be around. with the emotion they create, see human race as an accessory. And we are very much on that point. We develop this and we do these tests for control systems of the flights. It's not that we see how your emotion change, how would the emotion changes when we trust hundreds of thousands of souls or bodies or individuals in the hand of a pilot's emotion. Because we have records of it. Pilots, Egyptian pilot, wanted to end his life. So whatever, he brought hundreds of people to death. The history is there. True or not, we look at, there is a possibility because there are recorded possibilities. And these tests are part of that. And this shows love very clearly because we tuned it for love and we targeted the soul in that, and it's there. And the pictures at the moment coming from our research is done in a different way. I get it live, we have it. I'm looking at it even now. You try to see the presentation of the love and understanding of it. More or less, it targets the same. But we are looking at giving and taking in love. Here was just giving. And we are watching you as knowledge seekers. Some of you are connected, and if you sit in the panel, you see our systems are running. We are testing. We have separated with the new system the soul side and the physical side, totally separate, but on the energy side and the physical side. So the graph has moved totally to the right, but separated horizontally, vertically. We wanted to see if there is possible that we can change the structure of the soul. We can fall in love with different things at different levels, and your knowledge, because without knowing it, you are confirming it. And it's very, very interesting. We have to. We are a space technology. We are putting man in a space. We have to test everything. We don't understand all of it, but the data is there for when the AI takes over it. We can explain this. When all the knowledge seekers, the space people come into it, say, this is the behavior. We want to test this.
Didn't you say love will be the most important emotion in space?
Of course. If you can't give, you cannot receive. And the giving comes from love. When you love something, you give unconditionally. It's not, as they say, there is a say, we say it's not the American courts. You know, in America, if a dog is drowning and you go and help it to take it out, the owner says, you broke my fence, you have to pay for it. It doesn't matter, you saved my dog. It doesn't work that way. We have to understand the emotion and the reason for the emotion. We can control it. It's Keshe technology is not just the ganses you made and things. We are getting deeper and deeper, and most probably in the next 2 to 5 years we're coming up the major space operations. You have to consider everything. You have to. One of the tests was done in a prison using the Keshe technology, how we affect the emotion of the prisoners. They all became peaceful. If you remember, we tested with 100 children in the orphanage during the corona, how they all came out of Pampers together, increasingly in number. They start learning, which wasn't there. Orphanage was there for decades. You can change collectively the emotion. And all we did was we more or less blew energy into the environment of the orphanage. This is why I earlier said we want to see how we can feed a child in an incubator. How can we change the embryo inside the mother's womb that is peaceful? Can we transfer all the knowledge inside the womb before it comes out and chooses the language? If they don't destroy us within the next few months, the humanity is in a very good time. Any other question?
We have some questions from Paulo, who always starts out, respected Professor Keshe. First, it's actually a series of questions, so I'll just read through and you can select how you would like to answer. If we assume that every event has a purpose and that in some way the individual needs, allows, and even prefers what they experience, why do so many people manifest illness, scarcity, or personal conflict in their lives? It is rare to see the same person simultaneously stable in health, relationships, and material life. From the perspective of plasma science, do these imbalances indicate that the individual still requires such states to sustain their internal field? Do they function as mechanisms of field adjustment or as signs that intention and emotion are not yet coherent with what the person wishes to live? And if fields precede physical manifestation, could it be that the present is not producing the future, but rather revealing a future state already established in the individual's field?
Can we go for a break and come back for half an hour?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack.
As I explained about love, that our dynamic motion, everything else is in the same process. We have a reference point created at the point of birth. And that is our nervous system. Even our cells changes. Our cells stays calm, constant. Is the energy which we get from the environment, the food, the individual's emotion, because we receive their feeling, affects our process in the blood. That's why blood is so important. And on the other hand, because of that, and Earth magnetic field being connected to the same material, we create attachment and we value everything compared to the physicality of the time and place. This is one of the reasons we have different values in different nations, different cultures, different part of the world. And we export it because this is how our embryos was done. We go as a, let's say, Turkish mentality into Germany, and German has a different food background, different circulation of the emotional blood, and we have a conflict. We can't mix because it's embedded in our, not the DNA, but the blood circulation. The food we eat creates that condition. And we see that this is a problem, or this is the difference we see between nationalities. Because of the food intake, we create different emotions. There's nothing important than what we take as food, because 80% of which we get as environmental energy, which comes partially from inertia of the environment we are in, is all cosmic rays. So we receive, there is no prejudice in what we receive. But the prejudice comes in what we receive as a food, which allows which ray from cosmic ray we take in. And then it matches in. You eat certain food, you change towards the amino acid which that food creates in your body, which body needs to fight to maintain life. how much energy it needs. It dictates how much hunger you have and how you behave. You are used to a different kind of amino acid as a red meat, fish, vegetables, lentils, minerals, which are amino acid, and you see how you see the behavior changes. Have you ever lived with a vegetarian, true vegetarian, and a true meat eater, husband and wife? It's dynamic. The only thing keeps them together, maybe children and the love, maybe. I live with a couple like this, and it took me a long time to understand where the difference is. Very pleasant, very, very calm. The other one is a bullet, uncontrollable. And the more she does, the more she thinks is right, the humbler the vegetarian became. It's structure, how we take, how it affects our emotion, how we react. And we call it a day.
Okay, sure.
There we are. What are we now? We are nearly 2 hours and something in that bit. Yeah, we have to understand the process of emotion. There are a lot of teaching in the next few weeks will be in that process, because we have to understand how we match the emotion of the creator to the emotion of the man, to the emotion of the soul of the man, soul of physicality of the man, that using the common denominator of the energy of the soul of the creator, what we call common denominator of the universal field, allows us to move in different field strength. And there's a game to it, there's a way to do it. And today's test gave us a lot of information in the background, which we analyze over weeks, and then we see how it is and what it is. And till we don't get to this data the way we want, we test on you next 2 or 3 weeks. The March session of the 3 sessions which we put out might be moved further back to April or May. Till we are, I'm happy. What I'm looking for is there that we can translate into a system. It's very important that how we change the emotion of the man into the direction of the balance that you can transmute from one to another. And we build systems that way, that we give a common denominator, we create a field difference of the position, and you can shift into it. Thank you very much for today. And I hope we learned a little bit more about ourselves. Thank you very much, Rick, and see you next week.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Let's remind people there's some leftover questions. You can bring them over until next week, and maybe we can address them then. Let me see here. Get back to my background. And well, first of all, this completes our 630th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Many thanks to Mr. Keshe for the delivery of this workshop here on Thursday, February 19th. And I do have a message from the Universal Council to show here. Let me get that up. Let's see. There we go. And it's the message from the Universal Council delivered by Lissy. And I'll just read it on their behalf. It says, "We, the Universal Council, invite the Keshe and Universal family present at the Earth to unifying at the soul level every time, every day at 9 p.m. Central European Time, to give from our field strengths to enlighten the souls of world leaders, to negotiate and sign the World Peace Treaty, pledging their nations to everlasting peace on earth and throughout the universe. Okay, thank you, Lissy, for that. And our next public teaching workshop, just consulting the calendar here. It will be on Tuesday, February 24th, and that will be the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace, with members and support members of the Universal Council who present that program. And that will start at the 4 p.m. Central European Time on Tuesday, the 24th. Okay, I think that's it for today. Again, thank you everybody for attending, and we'll see you again sometime in the next public teaching workshops. Okay, bye for now. We'll go with our usual flight enhancement spaceship unit, and may you all have a great day wherever you are.